I lost 50 pounds using these weird habits, and I've helped hundreds of women do the same by converting them to my crazy ways. Put your judgment to one side, as these weird habits actually make a lot of sense once you understand why I do them. Habit 1, I eat fish for breakfast 90% of the time. I'm not talking about salmon and eggs at some fancy brunch place occasionally. I'm talking about mackerel straight out the tin at 7 a.m. It's not everyone's cup of tea. Like most of us, I grew up with cereal or toast for breakfast. But when I started trying to lose weight, I realized I couldn't afford to spend those calories on food that didn't even keep me full. So for years, I tried all the breakfast options: fruit, healthy, low calorie, but still left me starving before I even left the house. Oatmeal, marginally better, but I never got that long-lasting fullness that those hardcore oat lovers always promise. Skipping breakfast, which I called fasting, the ultimate low calorie. Headaches, difficulty concentrating, and once the hunger went out over my willpower, I would eat anything and everything in sight, completely cancelling out all those safe calories. The problem was, none of those breakfasts were proper meals. Most breakfast foods, even the healthy ones, aren't balanced meals. They're carb heavy and protein light. It wasn't until I lived in Asia for a bit and I saw how their traditional breakfasts were real meals. I began to question the whole breakfast food concept. Breakfast menus there featured noodles with chicken or dal and vegetable curry. So the point isn't the fish. The point is getting 25 to 30 grams of protein in that first meal with a decent whack of fibre too. My staple tin of mackerel, well, that is over 20 grams of protein right there. So I've added some toasted seeded bread, some tomato, some salad. This breakfast is an easy 30 grams of protein and 8 grams of fibre, which is the perfect combo to set my metabolism up for success for the entire day. The protein takes a good few hours to digest. It keeps my blood sugar stable, keeps me full, and the fibre is actually a secret weapon when it comes to weight loss, but most people don't give it a second thought. Studies consistently show that breakfasts that are higher in fibre lead to lower overall calorie intake for the rest of the day. I literally keep tins of fish in my cupboards at all times, and I even take them on holiday. No, really, I do. Now I get it. Fish for breakfast sounds mental, or worse to some people. Let me know in the comments if you'd ever give it a try. Now I'll have anything for breakfast. Aside from fish, one of my other faves, yes, that's a goodie. Dippy egg with broccoli. 0% yogurt works just as well. A big bowl, in fact, this is actually about half the portion you'd want, gives you about 20 grams of protein. And if you add some mixed seeds for a little bit of extra protein and some fibre, you're gonna have a great balanced breakfast right there. Eggs are amazing too. Mix whole eggs and egg whites if you need a lower calorie option. And don't forget veggies for that fibre and volume. Next one is why you won't see much workout content on my social media feeds, because I work out in my PJs or my panties most of the time. These days, well over half of my workouts happen in my kitchen with 2 kids and a dog under my feet. They are constantly interrupted, they are less than ideal, but they are the only way that I'm getting them done. Getting into proper workout clothes is just one more obstacle that I do not need. I am still a normal person whose brain will try and find all the reasons that I don't have the time or the energy to work out today. The baby didn't sleep, I have 101 emails waiting for me when I open my laptop. So rolling straight out of bed in my pajamas or just a sports bra and panties means one less delay to getting it done. And let's face it, as a busy working mum, looking put together for workouts just ain't a priority. But for the longest time, the perfectionist mindset that told me it was actually stopping me from exercising. I spent hundreds on really lovely gym outfits and online training programs. I needed to feel good enough about myself to walk into the gym without worrying what other people were thinking. I needed to feel right in the moment to get started. And I definitely needed at least an hour of uninterrupted time to make it worth it. But by the time I'd sorted all of that out, or I'd waited for the stars to align, I'd either run out of time or I'd lost all motivation to actually do my training. The biggest barrier to being consistent with exercise wasn't having the right plan or the right outfits or motivation or even having enough time. It was just friction. All the things that your brain will latch onto as a reasonable excuse to skip today. And when I started working out at home, in the time I had, in whatever I was already wearing, suddenly there was less excuses. And you know what? I've actually never been in better shape. I spend less time at the gym now. I use less weight because what I have at home is limited, but I am so much more consistent. And the best workout is the one that you actually do. The next habit is another one that goes against everything that you think you need to do for weight loss. And my clients look at me like I have lost my mind when I tell them this is what they need to do. Habit 3, I eat chocolate, wine, or cake every single day. For years, I was just stuck in this cycle of being good all week and then completely losing it on the weekend. Monday through Friday would be 100% clean eating, absolutely nothing bad past my lips. But then the weekend would come and I would eat everything in sight with no off switch. I'd finish an entire packet of biscuits in 10 minutes, polish off a bottle of wine on a Saturday and eat pastry after pastry, way beyond the point of feeling full. And then I'd spend Sunday night feeling awful about myself and promising to get back on it tomorrow. When you tell yourself you can't have something, your brain becomes obsessed with it. I started planning some of those kryptonite foods into every single day. Not huge amounts. I'm talking about a small chocolate bar after lunch, or a single glass of wine with dinner, or a couple of cookies with my afternoon tea. Usually like 150 to 200 calories worth. In fact, I tell my clients to plan up to 20% of their daily calories on these foods. All of these women lost over 50 pounds eating chocolate every single day. Actually, all of our clients lose 30 to 60 pounds in under 6 months without cutting out any of the foods they love. Click the link in the description or pause and use the QR code on screen, or you can go to bodysmartfitness.com to find out more about our program. The key is put your daily indulgence in MyFitnessPal before any of your other meals, because when it's planned in already, you can work backwards and make your calories fit for the day. So there's no guilt about going off track. I'm not off track. These foods are part of my plan. It also means I never really get wild cravings anymore. I don't feel the need to go mad and finish the whole packet because there's no scarcity around these foods. I thought if I gave myself permission to eat chocolate every day, I would just eat chocolate all day, every day. And for the first week or so, it was a little bit like that, but it very soon stopped having that power over me. I could have a few squares and feel satisfied because I knew I could have 2 more squares tomorrow if I wanted. In fact, what surprised me the most was that very soon there were days when I planned some chocolate or cake in, but when it came to it, I didn't even want it. Having chocolate or ice cream every day sounds like madness when you're trying to lose weight, right? But when you're doing it in a planned and controlled way, it makes sticking to your diet feel easier, and it means there's no wild binges, no guilt trips, no start again Mondays, which just drain your soul. So yeah, a little bit of what you enjoy every day leads to weight loss. Habit 4 sounds equally counterintuitive, but I eat 2 lunches every day. Instead of the typical 3 meals and snacks, I actually eat 4 proper meals a day. Usually 2 lunches, or if I'm having a hobbit day, as my husband calls it, 2 breakfasts. Before I made this switch, I was constantly hungry and thinking about food all day long. No wonder really, because when I took my daily calories, saved back 300 or 400 to spend on snacks, well, that didn't leave much for each meal. I'd have a teeny breakfast at 7, be hungry again by 10, so I'd have a couple of rice cakes and a piece of fruit. That took the edge off. Then I'd be hungry again by 12, have a low-calorie lunch like soup or salad, be hungry again by 2 or 3, need another quick snack to tide me over, maybe some more rice cakes or a low-fat yogurt or a granola bar, but I'd be ravenous by dinner time. And a 400-calorie dinner didn't touch the sides. So night after night, I would just end up picking after dinner, going over my calorie goals and feeling like a failure yet again. But when I switched to 4 proper meals, everything changed. Now I have my breakfast around 7, I have my first lunch around 11, my second lunch around 3, and then a dinner at 7ish. Each one is a proper balanced meal with 25 to 30 grams of protein, loads of volume, and they leave me actually satisfied because they digest slowly and keep my blood sugar stable. We're talking 300 to 400 calories minimum with at least 25 grams of protein, so they can actually power me through to the next meal. Now you might be wondering what those meals look like in practice. In all honesty, we love leftovers in our house. So most of the time I'm having last night's dinner for one of my lunches and maybe a previous night's dinner for another one. I've actually put 30 of my favorite recipes together for my email subscribers. So if you click the link below, I'll send them to you as well. All right, enough about food for a minute. This is for those of you with a smartwatch.
Habit number 5. Now this might seem a little bit weird for somebody who wanted to lose weight and get fit, but I stopped tracking my workouts. Well, in terms of calorie burn anyway.
I used to chase those calories at every gym session. Being sweaty and knackered was my ultimate goal. I needed to see that I'd burned like 500 calories and my heart rate had gone to a certain rate, or I'd closed all the rings on my Apple Watch. Exercise was all about hitting those measurable burn markers and earning my food. If I hadn't burned enough calories, well then that workout was a waste of time. When your only goal is to burn calories, you end up doing exercise that you hate. You force yourself through brutal cardio sessions that leave you exhausted and dreading your next gym session. Not to mention, the calorie counts on your smartwatch can be wildly inaccurate anyway. I used to get so caught up in the fact that I hadn't done enough exercise that day, or I'd eaten too much for a non-workout day, when in reality, your body doesn't run on a 24-hour block system. It's your average calorie in versus your average calorie out that matters. So now, over a week, I'm gonna hit my baseline activity level. My calorie burn will vary each day from walking, from workouts, from non-exercise movement like running my errands and playing with my kids. As long as my week is typical though, I'm good. So I don't need to close my rings or hit a certain heart rate in each gym session. I don't care if my workout only burns 400 calories instead of 500 calories. What I do track though is my strength training progress. My sets, my reps, my weight lifted. My focus is on getting stronger and working at 80 to 100% effort in every session. And like I said, that looks different day to day and week to week. Some days, 80% effort is just gonna be like a home-based yoga flow because I am exhausted and stressed. Other days, I'm up for 100% effort, and that is getting a personal best in the gym because I am feeling strong and energized. Instead of dreading my workouts because they were just about punishment and calorie burn and something that I knew I should do to lose weight, I started actually looking forward to them because they were about getting stronger and feeling good in my body in that moment. And you know what happened? I became more consistent because when exercise is about feeling good rather than burning calories, you actually want to do it. So that's how I transformed my relationship with exercise. And habit number 6 is how I completely transformed my relationship with food.
And that is because I keep all my sweets and chocolate in the garage.
I was fed up of standing in front of the kitchen cupboards, staring at the shelves, waiting for inspiration, only to end up mindlessly eating a whole packet of biscuits or an entire bar of chocolate. But I didn't want to never have these in the house. Neither did my husband. So I moved them.
All of them. Candy, biscuits, healthy chocolate bars, real chocolate bars. Basically anything that I used to just end up eating when I was bored or stressed out. If I genuinely want a chocolate or a biscuit, I can have it. I just have to leave the house, go out in the cold and the rain, and go get it from the garage. And this journey, even though it's only 30 seconds, is enough of a pause to make me consider whether I really want that thing. And sometimes I do really want it. So I'll make the trip and I'll go get it. But that's okay because I'm not mindlessly eating. I'm making a conscious choice.
Creating this enforced space allowed me to learn the difference between genuine cravings and autopilot eating. When you have to put in a little tiny bit of effort to get something, you become much more intentional about whether you actually want it. It also means that if I'm truly hungry between meals, the easiest thing to grab is going to be something like fruit or vegetables. The garage thing might not work for everyone, but the principle is you put the foods that you tend to eat mindlessly somewhere that requires a little bit of effort to access. At the back of a top shelf of your food cupboard or in a different room. So where are you going to move your kryptonite foods to?
Now, last but not least, this is a pretty standard house rule for kids, but we don't apply it to ourselves for some reason. Habit number 7 is only eating at the dinner table.
Research shows that if you're distracted whilst eating, you'll eat more. But when you're paying attention to your food, you'll eat more slowly, it will satisfy you more, and you'll generally end up eating less. So not only do I have to sit at the table to eat, but there's also a no distractions rule. No TV, no scrolling on my phone. All the focus is either on the conversation with my family or the food in front of me. This also helps make eating a more calm, enjoyable experience, which is super important for weight loss because when we feel stressed, we crave those high sugar, high energy foods that give us a quick hit. We eat quicker and we don't recognize when we're full. So we feel less satisfied and we eat more. But when I'm eating calmly, I'm sitting down and paying attention to the food in front of me, I am much more content to eat a well-balanced, healthy meal. I'll take my time to actually taste the flavors. I notice when I'm getting full and I'll feel satisfied with normal portions. Before I started doing this, I was constantly eating on the go. I was never giving my food the attention it deserved, especially seeing as nutrition is the biggest lever you can control when you're trying to lose weight. Eating in the car or in front of the TV or picking whilst I was cooking dinner, it never satisfied me because I wasn't actually present whilst I was eating that food. My brain didn't even register that I'd eaten most of the time, so I'd still be hungry even after consuming hundreds of calories. I know this might sound a bit rigid or impractical, especially if you have a busy lifestyle, but even if you can't do it for every single thing you eat, I'm gonna ask you to try and start with just one meal a day. Lunch is a good one because so many of us eat al desco and pay zero attention to our food. It's peak stress eating. So sitting down somewhere else, slowing down, putting your food on a plate, having a proper meal, and actually focusing on eating it will make a surprising difference on how full you feel and how snacky you are for the rest of the afternoon. If you try this, let me know in the comments how you find it, because it is wild how normalized wolfing down our lunch has become. None of these habits are the textbook things that you're going to read about elsewhere to lose weight. And the point isn't to take up my 7 weird habits. The point is break the mold a little bit. Experiment with ways that you can align your lifestyle with your goals. And if all of these ones were a bit wacky, then you want to check out this video where I'll share some other practical tips and advice to help you lose the weight and keep it off for good.